Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com.
Anything. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. What is a RIP timers? What is the administrative distance? What is a default routing? What is a static routing? Routing is just a process in order to send the data from one location to another location. That's it. RIP is very good protocol only for smaller network, very easy to implement. Hop count is the mechanism to find out the best path, correct? So there is no doubt, I think so. We would proceed further and understand the concept called as ASN number. Okay, so let's understand the concept called as ASN number. Now ASN stand for autonomous system number. Okay, now I will explain you with an example. I will delete this. Okay, now the next concept we want to discuss is called as autonomous system number. Now this concept is important, and this concept is important why? Because our next routing protocol is actually working on this mechanism. Correct? Now the next routing protocol which we are going to discuss is called as EIGRP, which is an hybrid protocol actually. Okay, it is a distance vector protocol, but you can say it is the advanced distance vector protocol. Correct? It work on dual algorithm, which is nothing but diffuse update algorithm. Okay, so let's understand, before you jump into this protocol, we need to understand one important concept called as autonomous system number. Okay, so this is a unique number identify your routing domain of the routers. I will tell you what exactly the definition says. It's a unique number identify the routing domain of the routers, or sometime you can say uh, an autonomous system is a collection of network under a common administrative domain. Now, this is by default definitions which are available. Now, people will get confused. Now, to be honest, this is a a very simple mechanism which is available. Let's say I do have a company called as uh, I'm running with a company called as ABC. ABC, correct? Now this is my company which I'm working on it. I do have two offices, correct? I do have multiple offices available, and I do have a specific router which I can use it for. So you can say I do have offices. Okay, I do have offices in three different locations: Hyderabad, I would say Bangalore, I would say Chennai. Okay, so every office do have their own router, correct? Now my requirement is something like that. I would like to make the communication possible between these two routers, correct? So what should I do? I should go for internet service provider for that. Okay, I said okay, I will connect the internet service provider. Now let's say I do have a internet service provider which is nothing but, you can say, Tata Telecommunication. So I'm connecting. Auto connections are not possible. Okay, so we cannot connect it like that right now. So what I will do, I will connect my all offices to this particular internet service. Remember that this particular is my internet service provider. Let's say this is, okay, you can say this is my Tata Telecommunication, and I'm using the common service in each of them, okay, from their respective cities. So you can say Bangalore do have their Tata service. So I'm using overall network from Tata. So I don't care where it is coming from, where it is coming from Hyderabad, where it is coming from Bangalore, or where it is coming from anywhere, correct? It is a Tata. It's a unique identity that my offices are connected to the Tata network with respect to that particular location. But technically speaking, Tata is the biggest internet network. I don't care. I'm taking the connection from Hyderabad. But end of the day, my company is connected to the Tata network because he's my provider. Correct? That's acceptable. I am able to do that. Now remember that this is my entity and this is complete group of my network. I will say this is my domain of the company which I am connected to the Tata network. Agree? Agree, no problem. Now what I will do, there is one more company like XYZ, correct? They also do have three offices, same like us, and they also do have Tata as their provider. Okay, they also connected to this Tata network. Sorry. They also connected to this Tata internet service provider. I'm just giving you one example. The Tata is the biggest network which is providing me the connectivity to the internet connection, and many offices are connected. Now understand how Tata can differentiate the traffic is coming actually from you. Let's say I want to, this is also Hyderabad office, this is also Bangalore office, this is also Chennai office from the company called as XYZ, correct? XYZ. So any traffic is coming from here, Tata will never by mistake send that traffic to XYZ, or any traffic which is coming over here. It is not going to this. Tata will not mix up the things, correct? Then how Tata is going to manage multiple vendors and how that traffic can be identified? Now there is a concept of IP addressing is there, that's fine. correct? But how the devices can, IP address is not enough to differentiate some kind of a traffic, because there are multiple devices which is running in a Tata network. They can differentiate your traffic so beautifully without the IP addresses. Then how the Tata network will identify the traffic coming from ABC, the traffic coming from XYZ, correct? Now this is because of autonomous system number. Tata can provide you a number for your entire routing domain. Whatever number of offices which you have, for that entire routing domain, that is nothing but complete group of your organization, whatever number of routers which you are using, Tata will provide you the unique identity for you. For example, this is a number 100 for everything. For every router, this is the same number. Okay, this company do have some other number like 200. Now this autonomous system number help me to differentiate the traffic. This is the identity of one routing domain. Okay, this is the identity of one routing domain. Now both are connected to the same network. Actually, both are connected to the same Tata network. You are the part of the Tata network now. It is like a star topology, what we have discussed. This is my main biggest switch, and these are all my ports, correct? So it is within the Tata network. If I would like to differentiate which customer is who, I would like to choose a concept called as autonomous system number, correct? Okay, I agree. Then what about two different ISPs? I will tell you what happened with that condition also. Okay, let's assume these are my ABC company. Okay, but the office is located in India. Okay, this is the same office. Okay, my office company is ABC. However, this is located in Dubai. This is located in Dubai. So I'm connected through this. If I'm within that, that's fine. Okay, my offices, these three offices is in India, and these three offices are in Dubai, correct? Now this is my internet service provider, let's say Tata. This is the internet service provider, is called as Etisalat, correct? Now Etisalat is the ISP in Dubai. Now both the ISPs, common factor is what? Both the ISPs are actually connected the biggest network called as internet. Now this internet is also required lot of internet service providers, they are connected, correct? Now imagine my Tata gave me a unique number for my domain. Okay, now Etisalat is actually working on a different strategy. They also gave me the number, but this number is coming from Etisalat. Okay, it is not from Tata. So this number is 200, but I am the part of this organization too. Now how do I make the communication between these two? Remember that my request will be going to my service provider. Whatever number which I am coming with, autonomous system number which is provided, that request is coming from that system. I will go to the internet service provider, which is Tata, and I'm routing your request over the internet to the Etisalat. Now, when I'm routing the request from my Tata network to other network, even my particular Tata domain do have a unique ASN number.
Hey viewers, our Mastery in DevOps engineering program can help you to hone the skills necessary to succeed in high level DevOps positions. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now and earn certification that show you are keeping pace with today's technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
A unique ASN number for Tata. I gave you that number. That number is a private ASN number. Like we have the concept like a private IP and public IP. Same concept is available in ASN number as well. We do have a private ASN number as well as public ASN number. If Tata is giving me that number in order to differentiate one routing domain, that number would be an private number. But right now, this traffic is going out of my Tata network and it is going to hit some other network, which is a service provider network. Then I do provide my ASN number along with your data packet. You can see people are able to identify if you understand the network forensic or the forensic science in IT. You can give me any data packets. I will tell you from which ISP it came from. And then I will contact that ISP to find out which IP address is this and who is allocated with this IP address. Now, how they would be able to identify how this connection, who is the internet service provider? Because every service provider should purchase a unique ASN number that is mandatory. It is compulsory. Otherwise, you will not be able to provide the internet service at all. So you should have ASN number as a service providers with you. 99% service providers are actually purchasing this ASN number. Once again, the company who can sell this number is called as ICANN. The one who is selling the IP address, the same company can provide you the unique ASN number. So whatever ASN number which is available for Tata, and he's making sure that the traffic coming from the Tata network over the internet, it is going to the Etisalat network. Whatever ASN number is provided to flow this particular traffic, that would be called it as public ASN number. Whatever number which is provided from ISP for you, and you need to run the traffic within this data. You're not going outside. You are doing everything within this data. Then that number would be called as private autonomous system number. This is unique identity. Remember that. If I'm using the number within this, even within this, it would be a private ASN number. It is a number that will identify you the complete routing network. In a simple word, you can say like that. Whatever number of router which you have across the India, all that particular routers, if they are connected to the Tata network will provide you the unique number to everyone. And Tata say that any traffic which is coming from any of these devices, consider that traffic is coming from 100. That is your identity. Correct? But the moment it release the packet from Tata network outside, this ASN number will not help me. Then I need to provide the ASN number from the Tata to other service provider. I told you this is a group of service providers are there. Then how come the Etisalat will come to know that the response should only go back to Tata, not to other ISP? Correct? The only mechanism which you can help you, that is called as your particular ASN number. Now, I will tell you one more interesting thing. There is a protocol called as, there are two type of protocols actually. The first category protocol is called as IGP. Okay, that is called as Interior Gateway Protocol. Okay, Now interior gateway protocols means our RIP, okay, our OSPF, our EIGRP, okay, IGRP. These are called as interior gateway protocol. That means the protocol can work within a single routing domain. That means within your company, within this entire structure, if I want to do any kind of a routing, the protocol which I am using, it's called as interior gateway protocol, correct? But the moment I want to transfer this data to Etisalat now, or Etisalat want to transfer to some other ISP or some other ISP, then IGP protocol actually not help us in that situation. In that situation, I need to go for another protocol called as EGP, that is called as exterior gateway protocol. Okay, currently we do have a protocol called as border gateway protocol. Now border gateway protocol, it's a backbone of our internet. Whatever internet which you are getting, that particular internet is actually working on a protocol called as BGP, border gateway protocol, because it is an exterior. In both the cases, in exterior gateway protocol, it work on autonomous system number. If I want to connect Tata office to Etisalat office. Now you can look at here. Where is Tata? Tata is in India. Etisalat in Dubai. Now in between that, I do have an optical fiber which is under sea. Correct. Now I would like to do the routing between these two. Correct. Now if I would like to do the routing between these two, how could I do that? Which protocol should I use it? Correct. Now this protocol which we can use it, that is nothing but your BGP protocol. Correct. So BGP protocol help us to communication between two different autonomous system, which is a public set I'm talking about. Correct. So this is called as autonomous system number. I will tell you the value for that. You can see once again. Okay, the value will start from, range is actually start from 1 to 65,535. Oh, sorry, 35. This is the total range. Out of that, public means the one which I told you. Okay, the public which we are going to talk about, correct? It is nothing but 1 to 64,512. Okay, these are public. That means here these public autonomous number, it's typically made for service provider. Correct. It is paid option. Remember that. Okay, this is a paid option like our IP address which we are getting, same thing. Correct. The company called as ICANN, which is saying that they are non-profit organization. They are actually purchasing and selling all this thing. And this is once again, it is for 1 year. Correct. It is for 1 year only. That autonomous number should be. Now private, which your ISP can provide it to you. Okay, for if they want to do the routing within their ISP network, means within your routing domain, you can use 64,512, sorry, 13 to the number would be 65,535. Correct. So this is autonomous system number which you can uniquely identify your entire domain. If it is within this, I can use this number with IGP protocol if I am within my routing domain. But if I want to go from this routing domain to another one, then I should go for EGP, then I need to purchase SP. Now, normal companies, actually very huge organization, will not actually go for this autonomous system number, which is a public site, but some of the companies can do that. However, there are some companies which you can use to purchase this ASN number, and they will also make sure that this ASN number should be properly managed and maintained. Correct? Now, why I discuss this ASN number? Because this particular ASN number is a part of EIGRP. Correct? EIGRP is a protocol which is nothing but a hybrid protocol where you are actually using autonomous system number. Correct? So let's understand how EIGRP works and what are the benefits of EIGRP. So let's delete this. Erase all the time. Now the diagram which we are going to use, that is this one. Okay, I will simply okay. So let's talk about EIGRP. Okay. Now EIGRP actually subset of IGRP. IGRP was the protocol called as Interior Gateway Routing Protocol. But after that, Cisco actually developed another version of it, and they said Enhanced Interior Gateway Routing Protocol. Correct? This is called as EIGRP. Now people say it's a hybrid. To be honest, it is not that hybrid, but you can say it is an advanced distance vector protocol. Okay, it is an advanced distance vector protocol. What is the first distance vector protocol we have seen? RIP. Correct? We have already seen RIP as a distance vector protocol, but on the top of that, this is an advanced one. Correct? This is a standard protocol now. Earlier, it was a Cisco proprietary. Cisco only on Cisco devices. It is supposed to be executed or it is supposed to be worked. Correct? But nowadays, it is open source. Open source means it is an open standard now. You can use it anything. Correct? Once again, this is supporting classless. That means it can carry the subnet mask information when they are sharing the updates with each other. Correct? Now you can see max hop count would be 255. By default, it is 100, but you can change it to 255. What is a max hop count in RIP? 15. Maximum network he can cross is 50, excluding himself. Including himself, he required 16 router he can cross. But look at EIGRP, how many router he can go through. His maximum number is 255. Correct? Administrative distance. And now you know what is the administrative distance value is. It is 90. Correct? Now you can see multicast and unicast update. That means the update which he is sending, it would be a multicast update, and or it could be a unicast update. Correct? Remember that. It work on dual algorithm, which is nothing but diffusion update algorithm. Correct? Now, whatever update which he is sending through multicast and unicast, the actual multicast IP address is 224.0.0.10. and every 5 seconds, okay, that we will discuss in a timer section. So this is very, very powerful. Converge rate is very fast, and this is a complete best option for your medium scale companies. Still, it is best option for medium scale companies whose number of routers would be in 255. Correct? Now, this is very interesting to understand how actually ERGRP works. Okay. Now, I told you that ERGRP is actually using autonomous.
Hey viewers, trying to get into DevSecOps? Enroll for our DevSecOps certified professional programs and earn the certification that shows you are fit for these technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
How this particular EIGRP will actually work, how this protocol work. Let's say I configured the EIGRP on this device first. What the moment I configure the EIGRP on this particular device, what this device will do, he will start sending hello packet to the neighbors. Now neighbor means the device which are directly connected to this router. So according to this router, who is my neighbor? This is my neighbor. He is not my neighbor because he is not directly connected. He is indirectly connected, but it is connected directly with him only. So he would consider he would be my neighbor. So what he will do, he will send a hello packet to this. Okay. Now I am saying the hello packet is not specifically set to router. That hello packet is actually set to 224 IP address. 224.0.0.10. Now, if this router is also working on EIGRP, he will receive that packet and he will say, I am also working on the same protocol, hello. So he is also saying hello. With respond to that, he is also saying hello to this particular router. At the same time, he is also sending hello to him in a multicast fashion. He will also respond it back to hello to him. Correct? So this process is actually happening in either way. So the first stage is called as hello. Now, why I'm sending hello? I would like to see whether I do have neighbor or not. Correct? So this hello message will be sending to find out neighbors. Who are my neighbors? Correct? So once I find out, if I send hello and if I got the acknowledgement and another hello, this router come to know that, hey, this is my neighbor. According to this router, he's one neighbor, he's my second neighbor. According to this router, he is my neighbor. He would not be the neighbor because the neighbors are the one who are directly connected. Correct? Okay. So first stage is called as I need to identify neighbor. Why I need to do that, by the way? I need to do that because I need to create a neighbor tables. Okay. There is a neighbor table available. I need to build that neighbor table. Now, why? What is containing neighbor table? This is just a table which contain who are my neighbors. Here also I do have a neighbor table. Who are my neighbors? Correct. So it contain only your neighbor related information, nothing else. This is the first stage. I said hello. He sent me hello. Based on his hello, he will come to know that, oh, you are my neighbor. Correct? And he will put his entry into his neighbor table. Correct? Now let's go to the second stage. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, so what is the second stage? Okay, now second stage is exchange the routing information. Routing information means, once again, why they are become the neighbors, why they are putting into the neighbor interest, because I want your routing information to be exchanged. Correct? This router should, whatever route, best routes are available, all that best route can share with this router. Even this router do have some best route, you can share with this router and this router. Even he has a best route, he can share with him, so ultimately he will share with him. Correct? So remember that this is very, very important, that whatever updates or whatever routing best routes are available, you need to exchange with each other. Correct? Now here is some twist. Now what that twist is, okay, here there is something interesting would happen. Correct? Now you can see updates means exactly best routing table. Let's say I do have some router over here. I do have some router over here. I do have some router over here. Just imagine, okay, there is some network and this router is connected to this. Now to reach to this router, I do have this router. I can reach over here. From this router, I can reach over here. I can go to this router. I can reach over here. But in for this router, I do have another option that I can connect with this and go here. I can connect with this. I can go here. So what exactly I want to tell you? Let's say this router do have the information to reach here. This router do have 3 best path. This router do have 5 best path. This router do have 10 best path to reach to this particular router. Correct? In EIGRP, what exactly happened? Now this router know everything. What are the best paths are available? He said this router do have 3 path. This router do have 5 path. This router do have 10 path. But in EIGRP, he is not taking all these 3 paths. He will only take whatever best is selected by these routers. You are getting my point. Imagine, I will explain you. Okay. Let's explain it this particular way. Correct? Let's see, I do have this router and this router do have multiple options here. Let's say 1, 2, and 3. Correct? And my destination is here. This is my destination route. Now, if I'm using EIGRP over here, and if my entire network is working on EIGRP, what exactly happened? So this router know what are the best path to reach to this destination. You know that I know have 10 different paths to reach to this router. This router said I do have 8 different paths to reach this router. This router said I do have 5 different paths to reach to this router. Correct? But if I'm using EIGRP protocol, I'm just want only one path, which is the best path according to this router. He will exchange only the best path. Now this router know 10 different paths, but out of that 10, he know that who is the best one. Okay, what is the best path? So in EIGRP, whenever the moment they are started exchanging the information with each other, they are not sending this information, all the path. They are only sending the best out of which. Now every router do have all the path, but that all the path would not be available in routing table. The only best path are available in the routing table. After processing all the routes, they find out which one is the best path for it. Correct? In EIGRP, I'm not interested in this information. I'm interested in this information only. So the next stage is called as exchange the routing information. Once we understand that this is my neighbor, so neighbor table is built. You will get a table. I will show you. The table is built. That table is called as neighbor table that contains neighbor information. Then these both the routers will start exchanging the routing information. Correct? Now, what routing information which we are going to use? The best path, only the best path which they are going to exchange with each other. Now, I send this information to him. He said, I received, acknowledge. He said, I'm sending the information to you. I will say acknowledge. Once this acknowledgement is done, then it will actually build one more table that is called as topology table. Okay, he will build a table called as topology table. Remember that one is called as neighbor table. Correct? Now topology table. Now topology table contains what? The best route which are shared by your neighbors. Correct? Now this is called as topology table. This is my second step. The first step, I said hello, hello. It will build the neighbor table. Based on that neighbor table, they are started sending the best route with each other. Correct? Now, when the moment the best route are exchanged with each other, they will build a topology table. Correct? Now, this topology table contains what? The best route which we just explained to you. The best path which you are shared with your routers. Correct? Once this topology table is built, the dual algorithm actually comes into the picture. Correct? The dual algorithm will build his own routing table. Now, once again, that algorithm will extract the data. Okay, the built topology table, whatever data is available, dual algorithm runs on it, and he will build his own routing table. Same thing, he will build his own routing. Correct? So this is a three-step process. First, create a neighbor table. Second, create a topology table. Why? Because I need to run the dual algorithm, whatever information which I got, and I will extract once again the best route, and I will load that route into my routing table. Correct? Now, what if any changes is happened? Remember that whatever updates which is happened over the EIGRP protocol, right? Make sure that EIGRP will do the changes incremental basis. What changes he will do? Incremental basis. That whatever new changes are added, that only changes would be applied. Means, for example, in RIP, what happened? If any changes is happen into the routing table, my router will exchange the entire router table one more time. Maybe there is a small change, but the exchange would be happen every 30 seconds with entire routing table with each other. But in case of EIGRP, he's not doing that. He will only exchange the information if there is a change. And if there is a change, he is not exchanging the routing table one more time. He will only exchange whatever changes happen with each other. So this is faster. So not lot of broadcast traffic is happening because of his own network actually. This is interesting. Correct? Now every 5 seconds also, I told you this this update is happened, which is actually trigger based. Means Whenever any update is happened, then only my EIGRP is going to update your routing table. That update information is sent. However, every 5 seconds there is some message which EIGRP is sending to their neighbors. Now this message is not contain any updates at all. He is only sending the message in the form of keep alive. He is just checking whether your neighbor is alive or not. Correct? In order to check that if the neighbor is not responding for 15 seconds, okay, if the neighbor is not responding for the 15 seconds, your neighbor would be removed from the neighbor table. Correct? So ultimately he will flush the routes which is moving to that particular neighbor. So immediately he will try to find out the best path to reach to some other places. Correct? So this is very interesting thing. And one more feature of EIGRP. Now I told you that in RIP, 4 equal cost connections or routes, which if I find out, those 4 routes will do equal cost load balancing. That means if I got the cost of those 4 routes are identical in case of RIP, we will start doing the load balancing. But in EIGRP, it would be unequal cost load balancing. By default, whether the cost is equal or unequal, my EIGRP will do the load balancing over there. Now this feature is very important. Now this feature is not available any other routing protocol. This is only available in EIGRP. Unequal cost load balancing. I do not bother whether the cost is equal or not. If I'm getting multiple path and it is reliable for me, I will start doing the load balancing over there. Correct? So this is complete theoretical and features of the protocol called as EIGRP. Correct? Now we will take a break for lunch, and after that I will tell you how to configure the EIGRP. Then we will talk about the concept called as feasible successor and successor, feasible successor and a successor, feasible distance and advertised distance, which are some additional points for your EIGRP. Correct?
Hey viewers, are you looking for formal training on SRE practices? Take our SRE program. This course will teach you how to successfully implement site reliability engineering in the modern day 24/7 services. Kickstart your SRE training today. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Okay. Now we are going to configure EIGRP on the top of our topology. And let me share my screen. Okay. I hope you are able to see my screen right now. Okay. Now we are going to configure EIGRP on the top of the same topology. Correct? So we already configured RIP on the top of it, RIP version 2. Tomorrow we will see RIP version, RIP NG, that is nothing but next generation RIP protocol, which is compatible for your IP version 6. Correct? So that we can see it. Then we will see DHCP, quality of the service, and WAN after that. Okay. So let's understand how we can configure EIGRP with the help of autonomous system number. So let me erase the drawing. Okay, I already saved the topology over here. So if I just power cycle it, okay, it should restart everything. Only IP address we already saved it. So whatever after that we have configured, it has been removed. So let's wait for everything to come back. Okay, that's done. Okay, so if I go to this router, now look at carefully how I am doing this. So if I go to this router, currently check on this router, enable config T. Okay, so I am able to log into the router. I hope, am I audible to all? Kindly put the messages into the chat box. Otherwise, what happened? I'm talking and sometime because of small network connectivity problem, we lost the voice. Okay. So I'm into the first router where I would like to configure the EIGRP, correct? Now EIGRP is an advanced distance vector protocol. We said it is going to do that. Second thing, it is classless. Maximum hop count is 255. Administrative distance is 90. Update, whatever update which is happening, it is happening on 224.0.0.10 IP address, and it is actually multicast and it is incremental, so it will not actually doing the update frequently. Any changes is happen only that time he will do the update, correct? So very good protocol for organization. Now let's see how to configure it. Okay, so if I go to this router, I just want to check whether the IP address is configured or not. Show IP interface brief. Okay, you can see IP address is intact over here. That's great. So enable show IP interface brief. Okay, this IP address is also intact, no problem. Enable show IP interface brief. Okay, that's fine. Show IP. Okay, RIP. Okay, currently RIP do have its own data. Now currently RIP is not running anywhere. So router is clean and clear with respect to routing. Now we are going to configure our RIP. So let's go to the router one. Now do one thing. I will keep all the windows open because I will tell you one more interesting thing which would happen. Okay, this is my second window, because there is a stage where he is actually exchanging the information. Okay, that message is actually popped up. Okay, so I open all the threes. Okay, this is my router number one, this is router number two, and this is router number three. Okay, look at carefully. Now I will go to the config mode and I will say router EIGRP. He will ask me for autonomous system number. Now if you are using this EIGRP within your organization, correct, you can use that free private autonomous system number which is available, correct? Now we are using in the lab system, so you can use any number in between this, but practically speaking, this number has to be identical for each and every router which is the part of that routing domain, correct? So remember that this is very, very important. So I said my router EIGRP, my autonomous number would be, for example, 4558, correct? Press enter. Then what is the next thing? I want to expose what are the networks which I am connected. So I am connected which network? Okay, I am connected 192.168.1.0 and 10 network. That's great. So I will say network 192.168.1.0. Okay, and the second network which I want to expose, that is 10.0.0.0. Agree. Okay, now look at here what will happen if I enable EIGRP. Here I would like to configure for 3 networks, but autonomous number has to be same. I will go conf t. I will go for router EIGRP. Okay, and the autonomous number should be unique, I said. Okay, now look at here. The moment I expose my network, okay, I would say network 192.168.100.0 is my one network. Network 10.0.0.0. Okay, you can see they are trying to find out that these two are now neighbor. Okay, and the third one is called as 20.0.0.0. Correct. So these two, what I told you, that they are going to send the hello packet first. They will acknowledge, then they will put their self into the neighbor table. Now, once the neighbor table is actually built, based on that neighbor table, what they are going to do, they are going to exchange the best routing information or best route information with each other. Correct. Once that information is exchanged, they will build the topology table, and based on the topology table, every router will build his own routing table. Correct. Now let's do with this also. Okay, I will say conf t. Correct. Now I would say router EIGRP. Okay, first of all, do one thing. To show IP interface brief. Okay, I will say the router EIGRP 4558. Okay, I would say the network which I want to advertise is 172.18.0.0. Enter. I will say network 20.0.0.0. Enter. Okay, once again, these are two neighbors. Correct? Because as I told you, as per our topology, for this router, this is one neighbor, this is one neighbor. For this router, he is the neighbor, because normally neighbor criteria would be the neighbor should be directly attached. Correct? So let's go to this router. Okay. Now I'm in the middle router, so I will go to exit. I would like to check whether this protocol is doing the way I supposed, whatever I explain, that protocol is supposed to work in that particular format. So let's go and see show IP EIGRP neighbors. Okay, you can see I'm able to see there are two interfaces. This is my neighbor and another one, two, is my neighbor. Correct. Why this is two? Because it is connected directly. Correct. Now if I say show IP EIGRP topology. Okay. Now topology means I would be able to get the value called as successor. Okay, all the values are successor. I will tell you what is the successor actually, and what is the, there are some option called as feasible successor also. So these are successor. Okay, these means successor means your best route which is available. Correct. So understand, I am able to create a topology table, and based on this topology table, I would create show IP route. This is my route table. Correct. Now understand, this is, I'm talking about the middle router. Now let's go to this router. This router also do have the same thing. If I say exit, okay, show IP EIGRP neighbors. do have only one neighbor because middle one is my neighbor. So I would get the topology. I will say topology means the complete information about the best route. Show IP, EIGRP topology. This is my topology in all our successor. Okay. Now we will also understand what is the FD. Okay. And what is AD. AD is not mentioned over here, but we will be able to understand what is FD also. This is very important. So this is also very good. So my entire network is now working with the protocol called as EIGRP. My autonomous system number is unique. Now they exchange the information about each other. So this router should contain the information about 172 and 20. So if I say show IP route, you would be able to see he knows about 20 and he knows about 178 as 172.18 as well. So 100% my complete network is routable now. So if I go to this computer and this computer, and if I go here and simply type ping 192 192.168.1.101, I'm trying to ping this interface. It should give me the response. Yes. So that means I'm able to connect with anything. Correct. So this is the EIGRP implementation. Very simple, very straightforward, very appropriate and optimum if you are using medium scale companies where you do not have the router more than 255, because the maximum hop count would be supported by EIGRP is a 255. It is an advanced level. You can say it is an advanced level distance vector router. Correct. Now there are two different concepts which we need to understand before we proceed. Now I will once again close this window and I will go back to the router and I will go back to the topology. Now when we talk about EIGRP, there are two concepts. Okay, the first concept is called as FD. FD stand for feasible distance. Okay, and there is another concept is called as advertised distance, that is called as AD. Now currently we are able to see only FD because we do have a specific constraint in your this is a simulator end of the day. This is not a real-time device. However, if you can see the same command working on real-time devices, there might be one more value would be available, that is called as AD, that is called as advertised distance. Correct. Now what is AD and what is FD? So let me show you over here. Okay, what is the feasible distance and what is the advertised distance in EIGRP? This is a concept related with the EIGRP, and why you required it, you will come to know that. Okay, what is a feasible?
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.